Hey there, it's Leona. Welcome to Zen Mindfulness Shodo. Today, we're gonna practice Shodo meditation while focusing on the Hiragana character for Mu. So, let's begin our beautiful journey together. When you write a character, imagine a square about the size of the character that you are gonna write like this. First, I'm gonna write it. Then I'm gonna explain the points and tips for writing the character beautifully in detail. Let's begin the explanation. The first stroke starts from a point slightly below and to the left of the center point of the top left square, or from a point slightly above and to the left of the middle of the left half of the middle horizontal line. This is a line that curves slightly downward, but it moves upward and to the right until it reaches the middle vertical line. The first stroke looks better if it gradually thickens as it moves to the right. Then, from the end point of this first stroke, the pen moves upward to the left with this kind of pen movement. The second stroke starts from a position slightly higher than the center point of the top left square, and a little to the right of the middle of the first stroke. It's just a little bit, but it's an S-shaped curved line that moves down parallel to the middle vertical line. As for how far down it goes, it descends to a position where the space above the starting point of the second stroke and the space below the lowest point look about the same. Then it curves to the left and moves up to the left. Then it curves upward and moves up to the right. And just before it touches the vertical part of the second stroke, it curves and moves down to the right, crossing at a point slightly higher than the lowest position. After crossing, it's a line that curves downward and moves to the right, and finally, it gradually thins out as it moves up towards the starting point of the third stroke. The horizontal line part doesn't go below the lowest point, but moves horizontally at about the same height, which makes the balance look good, and the character Mu itself appears stable and neat. At the end point of the second stroke, it checks smoothly like this, and moves up in the direction of that check. And then the third stroke starts from the height of the extension line of the first stroke, or slightly lower than that. It's a line that curves up to the right, descending to the lower right at an angle of about 45 degrees. This line gradually thickens as it moves down, which better expresses the curved beauty characteristic of Hiragana and looks beautiful. It's okay for this line to extend slightly to the right of the end point of the second stroke, but not too far to the right, which gives the whole character a better sense of cohesion. When this lowest point where it turns upward to the left is too sharp and pointy, for example, if written like this, it doesn't express the curved beauty characteristic of Hiragana well. And if written too round like this, it looks childish and gives a somewhat immature impression of the character Mu. So in terms of shape, if you can curve with a moderate roundness that's in between these, with an angle that's not too sharp but not too round, it might appear a more mature-looking Mu. This way of writing is something I've mentioned several times as a point to write, without making the turning point of angles too sharp in other hiragana as well. But I'll explain it here too. For example, if you come like this, and just before turning the corner, shift slightly to the left, by about the thickness of the pen before going up, the lowest point won't be too sharp or too round, like this. This part became a bit thick, because I pressed too much, but it should look something like this line. Also, instead of connecting here like this, When you come here, it looks cleaner if you leave a slight gap or space before going down, rather than connecting and then going down. Also, some people tend to write this horizontal line, part lower, maybe not as low as this, but quite a bit lower than the lowest point of this loop part. However, rather than writing like this, writing the horizontal line part at about the same height as the lowest point of the loop makes the whole character look more stable. Also, if you consciously try to make the space to the left of the starting point of the first stroke, and the space to the right of the end point of the third stroke about the same, the character Mu can be positioned right in the center of this square box, which looks well balanced, neat, and beautiful. Why don't you try practicing with these points and tips in mind? The key points for writing hiragana characters, as explained in the video, are concisely summarized in this book in a similar manner. The book allows you 3 pages to practice each character. It can be purchased on Amazon. See the link in the description. I'm gonna practice 1 page of this workbook this time, but you're welcome to practice as much as you want. If you're practicing with a pen, I recommend that you place a few pieces of paper under the page that you're writing on, so that the ink doesn't bleed onto the page under it. Alright, let's get started.